We have one more topic to get to. Super excited about the revelations that Anna's going to share about job losses across the economy, but at Amazon in particular. And maybe we can also talk about UPS. But Anna, yes, please, your floor.
So I wouldn't say I'm excited to share the details here, because I think what's kind of building in the country, and it's going to be a problem worldwide, is how AI is disrupting the labor market. And so Amazon has announced that they are cutting tens of thousands of jobs in an effort to save on labor costs and maximize profits. Now, there were some thoughts that these mass firings had more to do with the fact that they overhired during the COVID pandemic. However, the Wall Street Journal has poured cold water on that, because in 2022 was when they got rid of a ton of workers when they had overhired for COVID. So this next round, or the current round of mass firings over at Amazon, does have to do with AI. They are, in fact, intending to replace these jobs with AI. So around 14,000 workers were fired as part of this first round of cuts, but they're not quite done yet. Soon, the layoffs are expected to affect as many as 30,000 corporate jobs. So I want to be clear, these aren't the factory workers that they're targeting. These are the corporate positions over at Amazon. The planned cuts are expected to amount to roughly 10% of Amazon's corporate workforce. So when we talk about AI impacting jobs in America, they are, at least for now, mostly impacting white-collared workers, okay? So the professional managerial class, if you will. The firings impact human resources, cloud computing, advertising, and other business units, specifically at Amazon, but I'm sure this is going to impact other industries as well, other companies as well. So according to the Wall Street Journal, Amazon's job cuts come as large companies in the U.S. are looking at ways to reduce or slow the growth of their headcount, including by employing artificial intelligence. Rising prices, a tighter labor market, and the ebb and flow of President Trump's trade war have led corporate leaders to look at ways to tighten belts without hurting growth. And it does look like the mass firings, again, have a lot to do. There's a correlation between the mass firings and how much Amazon has invested in AI technology. As the Wall Street Journal reports, Amazon Chief Executive Andy Jassy has been on a years-long campaign to cut expenses as the company ramped up spending on AI amid increased competition for its cloud computing business. So look, this is, this is capitalism. The companies have a fiduciary responsibility to maximize profits to return on investment for their shareholders. But I feel like we're running into a brick wall, because at some point, when the workforce gets dwindled down and unemployment rises and people aren't spending money, these companies are going to be the ones that suffer as well. It's almost like we're destroying ourselves with what's going on. And I'm really curious what you ladies think about it.
Yeah,
oh, go ahead.
Really quickly, and I'll come back to you, I promise. Right now, I also want to provide additional context. Companies like NVIDIA, or just the Magnificent Seven, which is Amazon, NVIDIA, Microsoft, Meta, all these Google, these companies, they are betting billions of dollars on GPUs, on AI. It's proliferating everywhere. People are even saying that perhaps we're in the middle of a bubble. And I'm an investor myself, and I'm terrified, which is,
I just wanted to jump, because you're spot on right now. They just actually announced today that OpenAI has signed a $38 billion deal with Amazon Web Services.
Wow.
And it's going to be working alongside NVIDIA as well. And this is their way of pulling away from Microsoft. So I just wanted to add that.
And by the way, Emily, I don't know if you guys remembered what happened last week, I think, when all of a sudden everything stopped working. 2 weeks ago. Do you know what happened?
Oh yeah, the crash out.
Do you remember what happened?
Everything was down.
Do you know what happened? Does anyone know what happened? In Virginia, someone made a typo in an update in everything. I'm giving you a very layman's version. There was a typo, there was an update, everything fell apart.
Wow.
And that just shows the world how important Amazon Web Services is to the ecosystem. Emily, did you have a point?
Yeah, I was going to tell Anna this might be the only thing we ever agree on, but I really think it's so frightening, and this was something I foresaw AI doing in general, was taking human jobs. But I'm really surprised that it's corporate jobs that they're taking and not more like assembly line type jobs, because if anything, I thought it would be inverted, and I still think that's bad. Because I don't know what you guys use. I use ChatGPT very often.
Yeah.
And they are so inaccurate.
Yes,
There have been times where when I'm studying something that Trump did, and they will think that Biden is still the president. And a lot of people don't do their due diligence in fact checking AI, because they just blindly do it. And I've seen people get screwed in this. Now imagine you're putting a company's hands in AI. Down the line, I think it would be possible today, I'm going to exclude the morals for a minute. I think it's irresponsible and dangerous to do that, and I think you'll see more of those blackout instances happening. But morally speaking, who is this good for? Like, don't get me wrong. Like, oh my God, you're a communist. Like, no, I'm a capitalist. Yeah. But AI is unprecedented. Where's the line?
Emily, let me answer your question right away. It's good for the shareholders. People like me.
Of course, now, though.
Everyone is,
right,
that is why I'm actually sympathetic to President Trump's proposal that came out a couple weeks ago. He's saying that companies shouldn't put out quarterly earnings. It should be every 6 months. I'm saying that there's a point to that. I'm not sure if I support that proposal wholeheartedly, but there's something to be said about that because everything we are now at we are the victim of short-termism.
I agree.
They don't care about the next quarter. They care about this quarter and whether Wall Street earnings will be or disappoint.
And guys, I'm genuinely worried, and I'm thinking long term. I always think long term, right? I am genuinely worried about the absolute chaos and anarchy and insanity that will ensue when we have mass unemployment. People feel like they've got nothing to lose. They have no future to look forward to. Like, if we had a government that I felt was competent and was planning, was like, taking a look at our technology, how it's developing and planning ahead, I would feel better about the situation. We don't have that government.
I have a solution. Do you guys want to hear it? It's a proposal, and I want to hear if you. So I'm a deep capitalist. My family's from a communist regime, so I'm very anti-communist, everything. But how do we solve the problem that Anna just laid out very well? And one idea that I had, and I'm not sure how palatable it would be to the American public, and I know my prelude is already going on for a long time. What about a universal basic income?
So I thought about that too. But the universal basic income, I mean, don't you end up with the same thing that people complain about with communism?
But what I'm saying is there's going to be
there's
so much economic dislocation. What I'm saying is you give people this amount regardless of their wealth. Regardless if they're billionaires or they're destitute.
I don't like that though.
Yeah,
like
it's a slippery slope.
What are we going to do?
The one thing about capitalism that I think, if you're not dealing with crony capitalism, which I think we do have in the United States, unfortunately, but the whole point of capitalism was innovation, competition. If you want to work hard and you want to achieve, you can earn more.
Right.
And that gets taken away entirely under a system in which everyone's unemployed and we just rely on the same amount of money through universal basic income.
If I was getting income, why would I do anything? I like working, but what if you're a lazy bum?
I was thinking of like $10,000, just like something that
a month?
No, like a year.
That's that's crazy. What are you gonna do with $10,000?
I don't know, man.
That's
I'm just saying that.
Eggs at this point.
No, what I'm saying is, I don't think we're ready for the cataclysm that will ensue. And once the AI revolution,
I agree with that.
It's gonna be.
I think it's gonna be apocalyptic.
Exactly. So, and like all of us here at the table are gonna be fine. I feel like, but there's gonna be deep suffering, not just in America but around the world.
Wait, by the way, then I'll get to you. As a sports reporter, I'm always selfishly oh, AI will never take my job. Let me tell you something. In my last fight in Saudi Arabia, they didn't replace yet, but I think that's what they were leaning towards. They took a referee and replaced him with AI.
Yeah, oh, wow.
And I was like, that's crazy. So I was interviewing AI. We had a conversation. Do you know how surreal that felt? And then I was like, wait, I'm next. So they don't need me. You could just recreate me in a robot and not pay me.
Hi everyone, I'm Lindy Li. If you like this clip, please go to YouTube, look for her take, and subscribe. You won't regret it.